What's up, guys? The objective behind any NFL trade is pretty simple. Teams are trying to make themselves better by acquiring talent, future assets, or in some cases, just to clear up so much needed cap space. You help me, I help you. It's supposed to be a win-win for both sides. Now, in many cases, both teams do come away as winners in a blockbuster trade. In many other cases, however, one team emerges as a major winner, the other a big-time loser. Rarely do we see a blockbuster trade where both teams come away as total losers, but it happens. I'm Jason Biondo, and today we present 10 blockbuster NFL trades where both teams lost. Don't forget to leave your video ideas down below. We'll be looking, and if we pick your video idea, we'll give you a shout out in the video. So you get to be on TPS, so comment down below. Go do it. Make sure to subscribe to TPS and put on your notifications because we post videos every single day. Every day is a new video, so you have to subscribe. Why would you not? Sports content every day. And a big shout out to Mike Stubbs for suggesting this video. Now, we did tweak the idea just a little bit, but we wouldn't have this idea without you, Mike, so thanks. Number 10, Jaguars send Julius Thomas to Miami. Julius Thomas enjoyed 2 Pro Bowl seasons with the Denver Broncos, which helped him earn a 5-year contract worth $46 million from the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2015. The hope was that Thomas would be able to emerge as a big-time weapon for young quarterback Blake Bortles. But in 2 seasons with the Jaguars, Thomas totaled just 76 receptions for 763 yards and 9 touchdowns. Realizing their mistake, the Jaguars dumped Thomas and sent him to the Miami Dolphins. The two teams essentially combined 2 trades into one. Thomas went to Miami for a 2017 7th-round pick, while the Dolphins sent offensive tackle Brandon Albert to Jacksonville for a 2018 7th-rounder. Thomas caught just 41 passes for 388 yards and 3 touchdowns. That was in his 1 season with Miami before retiring. Albert, a 2-time Pro Bowler, decided to retire after the trade. However, he went back on it and returned to Jacksonville, but was released before the 2017 season. A Pro Bowler for a Pro Bowler usually makes for something special, but this one really turned out to be a mistake for both sides. Number 9, Dolphins draft Dion Jordan after a trade with the Raiders. The Miami Dolphins valued Oregon defensive end Dion Jordan at the 2013 draft, so they made a trade with the Oakland Raiders in order to get him at the number 3 spot. In return, the Raiders received the number 12 pick and Miami's 2nd rounder. Jordan violated the league's wellness policy and was suspended for 4 games in 2014. Jordan was also absent for the entire 2016 campaign, leaving Miami no choice but to release him in the 2017 offseason. Oakland used the 1st rounder from Miami on cornerback DJ Hayden. He wasn't terrible, but Hayden didn't develop into a star and was out of Oakland after 4 years. They used the number 42 pick obtained from Miami on offensive tackle Menelik Watson, but he was out of Oakland after playing just 3 seasons. Number 8, Cowboys surrender picks for Roy Williams. The Dallas Cowboys had a 5-time Pro Bowler safety in Roy Williams, but they wanted the other Roy Williams as well. You know, the 2006 Pro Bowl wide receiver from the Detroit Lions. During the 2008 season, Dallas traded their 2009 1st, 3rd, and 6th round picks to Detroit for the latter Williams and a 7th round selection. Roy Williams, the wideout, was joining a Dallas team that had Tony Romo, Jason Witten, and Terrell Owens. But instead of being the final piece, he turned out to be quite the flop. Williams lasted just 2.5 seasons in Dallas and never had more than 596 receiving yards in a single year with them. As for Detroit, they used those picks on Brandon Pettigrew, Derek Williams, and Aaron Brown. None of them became impact players. So yeah, the trade was just one big waste. Number 7, Jay Cutler for Kyle Orton. Jay Cutler was a Pro Bowl quarterback for the Denver Broncos in 2008, throwing for 4,526 yards and 25 touchdowns under head coach Mike Shanahan. Denver fell just short of winning the AFC West Division title, but at least they had a promising young QB to build around. But new Broncos head coach Josh McDaniels didn't like Cutler for whatever reason, and so they sent Cutler to the Chicago Bears in exchange for fellow quarterback Kyle Orton, and also 2009 and 2010 1st rounders, plus a 3rd rounder in 2009. Denver, with those 3 series of picks, landed Robert Ayers, Alfonso Smith, and Richard Quinn. None of those guys became stars, and Denver infamously gave up their 2010 1st rounder to move up and select Smith. That 1st round pick they gave up eventually became Earl Thomas. Orton was benched in favor of Tim Tebow during the 2010 and 11 seasons. The latter became the full-time starter in mid-2011, and Orton was waived. Cutler had a good year with the Bears in 2010, taking them to the NFC Championship game. Other than that, he was a major bust and was strongly disliked by his own fan base. The Bears moved on from Cutler after the 2016 season, trading one talented young QB for another totally failed on both sides in this case. Number 6, Raiders and Vikings botch Randy Moss trade. Randy Moss was by far the NFL's top wide receiver during his time with the Minnesota Vikings, but the team decided to move on from the the perennial Pro Bowler after the 2004 season. The Oakland Raiders needed a new offensive playmaker, so they acquired Moss in exchange for the number 7 pick in 2005 and linebacker Napoleon Harris. Moss registered just one 1,000-yard season for the Raiders in 2005, but he wasn't very productive in 2006. The Raiders would trade him to the New England Patriots in the 2007 offseason for nothing more than a 4th-round pick. Moss, of course, would go on to revive his career in New England. Harris only lasted 2 seasons in Minnesota, and the Vikings used that 1st-rounder from Oakland on wide receiver Troy Williamson. However, Moss's supposed successor only caught 79 passes for 1,067 yards and 3 touchdowns in 3 years with Minnesota. Number 5, Rams swap Bradford for Foles. Nick Foles guided the Philadelphia Eagles to an NFC East division title in 2013, but a broken collarbone ended his 2014 season early. Meanwhile, the St. Louis Rams had given up on 2010 first overall pick Sam Bradford, who kept suffering knee injuries and was thus unable to reach his full potential. So in the 2015 offseason, the Rams sent Bradford and a 2015 5th-rounder to the Eagles in exchange for Foles, as well as a 2015 4th-round choice plus a 2016 2nd-rounder. And the trade was a disaster for both teams. Foles was terrible under head coach Jeff Fisher and was eventually benched in favor of Case Keenum. He finished the year with 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. He would join the Kansas City Chiefs in the ensuing offseason. Bradford struggled quite a bit in Chip Kelly's complex offense, tossing just 19 touchdowns against 14 picks. The Eagles wound up trading him to the Minnesota Vikings in 2016 after trading up to land Carson Wentz with the number 2 pick in the draft. Well, both teams are doing pretty well now. The Rams took Jared Goff 1st overall in 2016, and he led them to a Super Bowl 53 appearance. The Eagles amazingly reunited with Foles, who led them to a Super Bowl 52 title while Wentz was recovering from a torn ACL. It was a terrible trade for both teams, but hey, they both wound up finding great quarterbacks. And that was only a year after the Blockbuster move. Number 4, Rams get Burt Jones, Colts draft a bust. During his tenure with the Baltimore Colts, quarterback Burt Jones was one of the game's top pocket passers. The former Pro Bowler won the NFL MVP and Offensive Player of the Year award in 1976. He led the league in passing yards that same year. In 1982, the Colts traded Jones to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for the number 4 pick in 1982 plus another 2nd-rounder. Sadly, Jones suffered a career-ending neck injury after playing just 4 games with the Rams. The Colts used the number 4 selection on Ohio State quarterback Art Schlichter, but he couldn't overcome a gambling addiction and kept getting into trouble off the field. He would only start 6 games for the Colts, losing every single one of them. Both the Rams and Colts thought they had found their franchise quarterbacks, but it turned out to be one giant regretful move for both sides. Number 3, Trent Richardson for Johnny Manziel. Oh boy, classic throwbacks. The Cleveland Browns drafted Alabama running back Trent Richardson with the top pick in 2012, and he tuned in a promising rookie year with 950 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns. But just 2 games into the 2013 season, the Browns decided to move on from Richardson. He was sent to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for their 2014 1st-round pick. Pairing Richardson with Andrew Luck was supposed to do wonders, while the 1st-round pick was supposed to help Cleveland during their rebuild. But Richardson wasn't able to put it together with the Colts. He averaged a horrid 2.9 yards per carry and had 3 fumbles before getting benched in a playoff win against the Kansas City Chiefs. In 2014, T-Rich averaged just 3.3 yards per carry and fumbled twice. He was released after the season. The Colts got a total of 977 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns over 2 seasons with Richardson. Not ideal, really. As for the Browns, they used the Colts' 1st-rounder in 2014 to move up and select Heisman Trophy winner and media darling Johnny Manziel with the number 22nd pick. He kept getting into trouble off the field and wound up starting just 8 games over 2 seasons before the Browns released him in 2016. So much for the Colts getting a Pro Bowl running back. So much for the Browns getting a franchise-changing quarterback. This trade really set both teams back. But the silver lining for both Indianapolis and Cleveland, the other teams got nothing out of the deal either. And now the Browns have Mayfield and the Colts have Andrew Luck, so everything happens for a reason. Number 2, Chargers and Cardinals 98 draft fill. The Indianapolis Colts drafted future Hall of Famer, MVP, and Super Bowl champion Peyton Manning with the 1st overall selection in 1998. That paved the way for the San Diego Chargers and Arizona Cardinals to really strike out at the draft, and that's to put things mildly. The Chargers were desperate to find a QB, so they swung a blockbuster deal with the Arizona Cardinals just to move up from 3rd to 2nd in the draft order. The Chargers acquired the number 2 pick in 1998 in exchange for the number 3 pick, an additional 2nd-rounder, their 1st-round pick in 1999 kick return man Eric Metcalf, and linebacker Patrick Sapp. Attitude problems, laziness, injuries, and poor play ultimately led to Leaf becoming the biggest draft bust in NFL history. He lasted 2 seasons in San Diego, losing 14 of 18 starts while tossing 13 touchdowns against 33 interceptions. Leaf was out of the NFL after the 2001 season. Arizona used the number 3 pick on defensive end Andre Wadsworth, but he lasted just 3 seasons and recorded only 8 sacks. Metcalf, a 3-time Pro Bowler, never panned out in Arizona and was gone after just 1 season. Sapp never became an impact player either. The Cardinals did select Pro Bowl wideout David Boston with the number 8 pick in 1999, but he was out of Arizona after just 4 years. So the Chargers got the biggest draft bust in history. The Cardinals received a major haul but couldn't find a single franchise-changing player. Yeah, both sides lost this trade big time. Number 1, Rams Redskins strike out on RG3 trade. The St. Louis Rams owned the number 2 pick in the 2012 draft, but they had just taken the aforementioned Sam Bradford at first overall a year earlier. Because of this, they had little need for the 2nd overall selection in a class that was highlighted by quarterback Andrew Luck and Robert Griffin III. The Washington Redskins mortgaged their entire future to get the pick from St. Louis. In return, the Rams received Washington's first rounders in 2012, 2013, and 2014, plus an additional 2nd round pick in the latter year. The Indianapolis Colts took Luck with the 1st pick, and Washington wound up taking Griffin. As you recall, the latter won the Offensive Rookie of the Year award and led the Redskins to a surprise NFC East Division title. Sadly, Washington mismanaged Griffin, forcing him to play on a bad knee. After a sensational rookie year, RG3 kept getting injured and wasn't able to regain the top form again. He lost the starting job to Kirk Cousins and was released after the 2015 season. As for the Rams, after a series of trades, their final haul in the RG3 deal turned out to be the following: Janoris Jenkins, Alec Ogletree, Zach Stacy, Stedman Bailey, Michael Brockers, Isaiah Peed, Greg Robinson, Rokevius Watkins. Bailey miraculously survived a horrific shooting incident, but the wounds suffered forced him to retire. Outside of Brockers, the other players didn't pan out. Amazing that the Rams couldn't get at least 1 Pro Bowler talent out of all those picks. One enormous blockbuster trade, 0 franchise-changing players came out of it. This deal was like so bad. Poor guys. Alright, whatever. Which other blockbuster NFL trade saw both teams lose? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post great content every single week. And if you want more of me, you should go there. Like and subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to TPS because we post videos every single day. Every day is a new video. So subscribe. New sports content every day. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes 1 click right down there. Smash that like button. Boom. Go do it. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.